Coming to you direct from Silencer Shop Studios, home of the Glass Case of Emotion.
SilencerShop.com, the easiest way to buy silencers online, period.
Stand by for education, enlightenment, enjoyment, and entertainment.
He's not here to talk about your feelings. He's not here to say what you want to hear. He's here to say what needs to be said.
Ladies and gentlemen, and children of all ages, please welcome your host, the pimp hand of America, Professor Paul Markle.
Look at me over here saying what needs to be said. How crazy is that? All right, welcome to a brand new week of Student of the Gun Radio. Thank you very much for taking the time to join us today. And if this is your first time, well, congratulations. Look at you sitting there listening to Student of the Gun for the first time. That's so cute. But good job on your excellent decision-making skills, at least up to this point. So if today is your first time listening to the sound of my voice, buckle in, strap on, do whatever it is you need to do. Buckle in, buckle on, buckle up, because it's going to be a bumpy ride. And like young Miss Alex said at the very beginning, I am not here to say what you want to hear. I am here to say what needs to be said. And sometimes that can hurt people's feelings. And if it hurts your feelings, it's your own fault. You need to fix yourself. But that's why we're here. Is it not, Zachary?
That's exactly why we're here.
That's right. We are here to help you to not have such fragile feelings and to operate from a viewpoint of education and experience and enlightenment, not feelings. And joining us from the satellite studio in Salt Lake City, Utah, is Jared. I think he's joining us today.
I am joining you. I'm here.
I thought you were there.
Yep, I am. Is my video on? No, it's not. You're looking at a timer.
I'm looking at a timer.
I'm sorry. Yeah. And you guys that are listening right now probably can't see the video anyway, so it doesn't matter. But I am Jared Markle. I am in Salt Lake City, coming to you, maybe not live, but I am live. I'm here live right now.
Wave to the audience at home. Everyone wave.
Yep, waving.
We all wave to you. There you go. All right. But if you are driving, make sure your hands 10 and 2 on the wheel there. Hold on to that wheel. If you're on the treadmill, give me 10 more minutes.
If you're a cool
you know who
person,
you are.
though, you have one hand at 12.
One hand at 12?
That's what you do if you're a cool person.
Oh, really? How does Kyrie Zane hold her steering wheel?
Hell if I know.
She just spin it?
Yeah.
Spinning.
You know, I can say with utmost confidence, nobody listening to this knows who that is.
Someone does. At least one person. If you got that reference, go to Facebook.
And send me a direct message.
No, you have to create a meme and tag Zachary in it.
Sure, that too. That works as well.
Create a meme and tag Zach the shipping ogre in that. So we haven't had a whole lot of packages to touch lately, but believe me, by the time that Jared and I get back from the shooting, hunting, and outdoor trade show, there are going to be a lot of packages. Because many of the grad program people, and you know who you are, took advantage of the special limited offer to get a signed copy of the brand new book, Examining the Armed Citizen, the Historic Struggle Between Man and the State for Control of Small Arms, by this guy named Paul Markle. Yes, exactly. And what we did, and just in case you're not hip and you're not keeping up with this stuff, grad program people, they have an investment in Student of the Gun. They do. They have taken that extra step to make an investment to be a part of the group. And so we offered them last week, an exclusive opportunity to receive an autographed book. I'll get out my blue pen. That's how you know it's real, because it's blue. That's right. So I'll get up my blue pen and I'm going to sign it, personalize it, send it to you freaks. So that's just one of the many fringe benefits. It's one of the benefits of being part of the grad program. If you'd like to be part of the grad program, you're like, okay, you sold me. I've been dragging my feet, but I do want to be part of the grad program. I want to hang with the like-minded individuals and all the cool kids in the smoking area out behind the school. If you want to do that, well, how can they do that, Jared? Is there a way? Is there a gateway that they can use to get into the grad program?
Well, I would say that you are consuming the gateway drug right now. And so if the gateway drug is working, then just go to getsotg.com and then follow directions from there.
GetSOTG.com, GETSOTG.com. That sounds like something that I would do if I had access to the World Wide Web.
Yeah.
It's actually something that I would do.
And
but if you have a device that's World Wide Web accessible, you can do that.
Yes, that is true. And I do want to address maybe if you're a new listener and you're not quite sold on the whole grad program thing yet, then still come into the student lounge. If you are a like-minded individual, but you're not ready to make a monetary investment, then go to getsotg.com, and there's a free membership level for you. It gets you access to the 7 Training Tips course and also select premium articles. And I open that because I do realize that we do have new listeners quite often, and sometimes you guys don't have the time to invest immediately to listen to all of the shows. But I do want to get you into the student lounge so you can use the features that we have and actually connect with other like-minded individuals in your area, because you are not alone. And we want to show you that.
Yes. And well, the reason we created the Student of the Gun Lounge, the reason we created this whole entire platform for you guys is so that you don't have to, again, and it's a recurring theme here on Student of the Gun, we do not have to rely upon third parties, such as, we're going to use Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And so we're going to use that until, some soy-fed mangina reports us and says that we hurt their feelings, and then they shut us down for violating community guidelines. But until then, we're going to continue to use them. But with the Student Lounge, we own it, we control it, and we don't have to worry about somebody getting their feelings hurt and being shut down. So the gateway is GetSOTG.com. It's super simple. Do it today. All right. It's Monday, and because it is Monday, thank you very much for reminding me, Paul, we have a SWAT Fuel Warrior of the Week question, and we're doing things a little bit differently today. Now, we have a Warrior of the Week number, a phone number that you can call. It's 844-207-7684. Call, leave them a question, a well-rehearsed question, and we may play you online or on our show. I don't know if we put the calls up on the line or what we do, but we have someone who wrote in. They wrote in the question, and I think we'll have Zachary read that after we play the official Warrior of the Week music.
This week's Warrior of the Week question comes from Mr. Ryan Hepfer, and he asks, can you explain the use of force continuum?
Yes.
And that's it. That's the answer.
I answered the question.
He is capable, yeah.
Do I have the ability to explain it? The answer is yes. Thank you very much for your question, Ryan. And in order to, all right, for all of you smarty aleck people in the grad program, pull it in for a second. Ryan has not won anything from us this year, or not just 2018.
Yeah.
Ryan hasn't won anything since before we left the old studio in Biloxi.
Yeah, so I remember that his 6-month ban was up on like December 12th, so he didn't win anything from like whatever December 12th minus 6 months is up until now. So that's almost a year.
Yeah, it's almost a year. So we'll go ahead and we'll be kind, benevolent, and generous. So, all right, the use of force continuum. Actually, the use of force continuum is something that I learned, 30 years? No, let me see. I became a policeman. I got my commission. So let's go all the way back to the early 1990s. Yes, back in the dark ages before the internet. Yes, before there was a World Wide Web, or at least a World Wide Web that was available to you. I know that scientists have been using it for a long time, but we had this thing called the use of force continuum. And what it was, this continuum was developed and it was put in graph format to teach young police officers the proper way or the proper steps to use force. Because not every use of force is lethal. Not every use of force requires a gun. But some do. Some don't. Some uses of force require physical action, such as striking the offending party with a stick of some sort. We used to use hickory and oak quite a bit. Hickory batons were very popular back in the olden days. We would hit them with a hickory stick shaped into a baton. But today we know, and then they came up with these new space age polymers, monadnock. You guys might know monadnock, the PR24 people. They're like, hey, what if we took the ancient Japanese tonfa and we made it into a stick and we taught cops how to hit people with that? Wouldn't that be cool? And then Rodney King happened, and it's like, oh, we're going to not do that no more. Let's do other things. But not every, it's kind of like, you go out into your garage, right? And if you're like most people, you either have a plastic or a steel. I don't even know if they sell steel ones anymore, but I guess they do. Toolbox, right? I have a big red polymer plastic toolbox. And I bought that toolbox probably about the time that I first got married, and I've had it ever since. And when I bought it, it was empty. Just an empty toolbox, right? And so what do you start doing? You start putting things in there. Flathead screwdrivers, Phillips screwdrivers, hammers, and so forth. And then eventually you realize that you need some kind of a wood file. Then you put it in a metal file. Then you have vice grips. And then you have all kinds of things in your toolbox. Now, that is what the use of force continuum is. It's using the proper or appropriate tool for the situation. Now, I know sometimes you might be married to me and think that you should pull a Phillips head wood screw out of a 2x4 with a claw hammer. You may think that.
She is going to freaking beat you if she ever listens to this.
But she won't, because she's not listening, because she doesn't listen to the Daily Show.
Someone's going to tell her.
But,
hey, Ms. Nancy, fast forward to 12 minutes in the most recent episode.
You're a jerk throwing me under the bus like that.
Hey, someone was going to do it. Probably Jared.
Okay, but what I'm getting at is a claw hammer is not the appropriate tool to remove a wood screw from a 2x4. Now, is it? Doesn't mean that claw hammers have no use. Doesn't mean we shouldn't have a claw hammer. It just means that's not the right tool. So when it comes to the use of force continuum, we start at the lowest end, the bottom, right? And then we work all the way up to deadly force. So, at least for a police officer, the first step on the use of force continuum is lawful authority. Do you have the lawful authority to be where you are and to be doing what you're doing? You're in a uniform. You drove up in a police car, right? So here I am. I got my blue polyester uniform. I got my black and white car, or my blue car, or my silver car, or whatever color your car is. I don't know what color your car is. So, and you got red and blue lights on it, and you got a siren that goes, woo, just like that. Or it might go, woo, like Ric Flair. So there you go. You drive up, and step number one in the use of force continuum is presence or lawful authority. So there you go. And that may be all you need. You might get out and say, all right, break it up. What's going on here? Then you use your voice, verbal commands. So presence, authority, verbal commands. Stop. Show me your hands. Whatever, right? Verbal commands. And after verbal commands, so you pull up, a bunch of people are fighting, doing bad stuff, and you yell, stop. And they're like, screw you. We're going to keep on doing what we're doing here. And then you're like, okay. Then you need to decide, what else is going on here? Do they have things in their hands? Like, do they have lead pipes or knives or machetes or guns? Because if they have a gun in their hand, if you jump out, you'll stop, and they have a gun in their hand, and they turn and point it at you, that's not the time to be pulling out pepper spray. Okay? That's not the time to try and engage them with your PPCT tactics. That is a time to skip over all the other stuff and go straight to lethal force. But maybe they don't. So what do we use? Now, in the modern use of force continuum, we had verbal commands, we had your presence, verbal commands, then you had oleoresin capsicum, right? OC, pepper spray. Then after pepper spray, you may have, depending on, what your department issues you, some departments don't issue pepper spray anymore. Some don't issue tasers. Some issue tasers and pepper spray. Some issue batons, tasers, and pepper spray, what have you. So then you go to like a taser, not a handheld stun gun, but an actual taser. And then you go to things like police batons, whether it's a PR-24 or whether it is an ASP collapsible baton, which is a brand name like Band-Aid, or just a piece of hickory, a well-rounded hickory stick. All right, then you move up from there. And in there you may have things like chokeholds or what they call the lateral vascular neck restraint, and so on and so forth. And you get all the way up to the top, and you have lethal force. And you say, man, that's really confusing and convoluted. Well, that's why they put it in graph form when they teach you, the young skulls full of mush in the police academy. Now, you say to yourself, you're like, yeah, but Paul, I'm not a policeman, so none of this stuff matters to me, and I don't know why you're wasting my time. Well, actually, it does matter to you. Because, believe it or not, a police officer has no more right to use deadly force against a felon, a bad guy, a criminal, whatever, than you, the average citizen, have to use against a felon or a bad guy or criminal. The law looks at it the same way. So if you have a person committing an aggravated felony is a felony that's committed with either the threat of force or the use of force and or a weapon, right? So a pickpocket is not an aggravated felony. Someone that punches you in the head, knocks you to the ground, and pulls your wallet out of your back pocket after he's pummeled you, that is a robbery. That is an aggravated felony because they used force. What if they whip out a knife, stick it in your face, and say, give me everything in your pockets, but they don't actually stab you? That is the threatened use of force in order to execute a theft offense. That is an aggravated felony. What if someone boots your door at 3 a.m. and comes busting into your house? They just used force to threaten entry into your domicile. That is an aggravated felony. All of these things are deadly force. Rape, murder, robbery, kidnapping, those are all aggravated felonies which require or are allowed. You can use, now, let's say you wanted to be, you're trying to be a smart guy, and so somebody boots in your door, comes running in with his homies, and you say, I'm going to take these guys down with pepper spray. I'm not going to use a gun. If it works, great. If it doesn't work, you're screwed. But you don't get any rewards for going lower than is legal. The use of force continuum is a way to teach officers what they are legally allowed to use in what situation. Okay? And going below what is legally allowed doesn't get you extra bonus points. Like you're like, well, I know he had a gun, but instead of shooting him, I pulled out my PR-24 and thought I'm going to knock the gun out of his hand with the stick. If it works, great. If it doesn't, you end up dead or in the hospital or maimed. You don't get bonus points for going below what you're legally allowed to do. Now, you can do whatever you want. I mean, if you don't want to use a firearm, don't use a firearm. If you don't think that you have the mental capacity to use one, don't buy one. But and I keep having to discuss this. And the reason I chose this question this week is because as often as I discuss these things, we still, there's still confusion out there. And I don't know what to do except just keep getting up in the morning and driving on. So some uses of force are what they call less than lethal. OC, tasers, verbal commands, empty-handed techniques are less than lethal. Now, in the middle there, and that's where like sticks and PR-24s and batons, they kind of fall in the middle because you say, well, Paul, I mean, you said that, Police officer using a baton is less than lethal, but then you also said if a guy attacks you with a big stick, then you can shoot him. I don't get it. Well, if a police officer uses a baton and they strike the large muscle groups of the offending party, such as the thigh area, which is generally the preferred area to strike, they strike them in the thigh area or the lower leg area or the upper leg area. If you strike someone in the bicep, tricep area, generally it puts a good serious stinger on them and they stop acting stupid. But if you were to strike about their head and shoulders, their face, and so forth, then that elevates it to a deadly force attack. So we teach police officers in the academy to not hit people in their faces or their cojones or in their necks or in their heads. We teach them if you have to use a stick to attack the large muscle groups, specifically the large muscle groups in the legs. That is the difference. But if a guy busts into your house, he's got an aluminum baseball bat, and he's coming at you, do you think that guy's trying to effect an arrest by attacking your large muscle groups to just incapacitate you? Or do you think he's probably going to split your skull open?
I think what you should probably do is dual wield some tasers.
If you learned how to defend yourself from Call of Duty, that might be what you wanted to do. So, all right, Ryan, I hope that answers your question. I hope that illuminates the topic for all of you freaks and freakettes out there in the Student of the Gun audience. And by now, Ryan should know what to do, but email info@studentofthegun.com with your name, your mailing address, your phone number, and your email included in the body. And if you don't include your email in the body of the text, we're not going to give you your free bottle of 9. All right, I was trying to be a jerk there. But, yeah, everybody who wins gets a free bottle of 9mm plus P from our good friends at SWAT Fuel. SWAT Fuel. They want you to have a stronger body and a sharper mind for this year, all the time. Go to SWATfuelstore.com. Use the promo code SOTG2015. All right, moving on. All right, we've got this. We have a friend and a partner in crime, and their name is CrossbreedHolsters.com, and they want you to be an armed citizen, not just occasionally, but all the time. I know. You're like, what, all the time? Carry a gun all the time? Yeah. If you go to CrossbreedHolsters.com, they have many products that can assist you in your journey of being an armed citizen. Froglube, it's green, it's minty fresh. It is a bio-based firearms lubricant, and Froglube just introduced at SHOT Show the new 1-ounce pump spray bottle with Froglube Extreme. So pick up that 1-ounce spray bottle at your favorite lubrication dealer, or go to froglube.com or brownells.com or wherever you get lube products from. Century Arms is the sweetest smelling arms maker in the U.S. of A. And in addition to being the sweetest smelling arms maker, they just gave away a whole bunch of guns. I know. They did. And one of the guns that they gave away was their brand new 9mm pistol. But this is a Kalashnikov style 9mm pistol. It's freaky, and you can check it out at centuryarms.com. DuraCoat, because life is too short to have an ugly gun. And not only is it too short to have an ugly gun, but DuraCoat now has a mobile-friendly, user-friendly website. So if you have not been to LauerWeaponry.com lately, or where else is a good, what are some good words to type into a search engine to take you to DuraCoat firearms finishes, Jared?
DuraCoat.
DuraCoat
firearms finishes. Yeah. Lauer Weaponry. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Beware of imitators. I will tell you that. Beware of imitators. Often imitated, never duplicated. DuraCoat. And last, Brownells. Brownells just released a new product line at the Shooting, Hunting, and Outdoor Trade Show. And if you want to find out more about what Brownells has to offer you, if you own a gun, if you're thinking about buying a gun, even if you don't have a gun yet, you can go to brownells.com, and I guarantee you they have something for you.
I spy a black pickup truck. Oh, come on. How about something a little easier? Okay, I spy error-free forms, fast ATF processing, a 90-day money-back guarantee, and the largest inventory in the industry. I spy Powered By. That's right. With over 300 Powered By Silencer Shop retailers nationwide, there's always one close by. Is that easy enough for you? Ha! Almost too easy. Demand Powered By. Shop our industry-leading inventory at silencershop.com.
Jared, did you see one of our fans and followers said that their doctor had that music as their ringtone on their phone?
It was the hold music.
Was it the hold music?
Yep.
That makes sense. The hold music that make you not be so angry about being on hold.
That's actually genius.
Right. That is genius. Okay, so what we're doing today is we're going to dive into quiet time. And, of course, our Quiet Time weekly segment is brought to you by silencershop.com because it makes sense, right? Now, the topic I wanted to discuss today is not all that earth-shattering, but I felt it was necessary because a lot of our friends out there in the world have recently freaked out because they're not used to being able to, or they're not used to not being able to just leave their homes and drive on the roads whenever they want to. A lot of our friends that live in the East and live in the South, anytime you want to leave, you just go out, put your keys in the car and drive away, and the roads are always clear, and there's never any ice or snow on them, and so you don't ever have to worry about, will I be able to leave the house tomorrow? And recently, weather conditions, global warming, caused the South to freeze. What? Global warming did that? Well, you know what I mean. So here we are. We have people, friends and relatives and acquaintances and so forth, that are living all over the South and the East, and they get a warning from the sheriff's department or highway department: stay home, stay off the roads, don't drive. We're like, what are we going to do? What am I going to do if I can't leave my house? Stay home. It'll be okay. The world will be there tomorrow. I promise you. I want you to be prepared to make the most of your at-home time. And I know you're like, well, what? What? Yeah. Brothers and sisters, I wish how many times have we actually not left the house because of weather this year, Jared? Zachary? One?
I don't even think one. I think one we just choose to stay home.
Well, we went in late, but instead of going in at 9 o'clock, we didn't go until afternoon or what have you.
Yeah.
But we haven't had a time yet where we just no, can't go out, not getting on the road. It's not going to be possible.
Which I'm personally feeling ripped off.
I know I'm feeling kind of ripped off too, but I'm thinking we're going to get a snowy February. So, but my advice to you is this: A, don't worry, the world will be there tomorrow. Just calm down, take a deep breath. And B, be ready and be prepared to make the most of your at-home time. Do you not have a book that you've been looking forward to reading? Ladies and gentlemen, you need, and that's a crazy thing about our world and our society right now. It's almost like if people don't have a constant distraction of going back and forth from here to there and up and down and back, that they don't know how to, they don't know how to function. Folks, enjoy the quiet time. That is my advice to you this week. If you are one of these many people who are getting surprisingly, locked in by ice storms or locked in by the 1.5 inches of snow that fell in northern Alabama or northern Mississippi or whatever, stay home. Enjoy some quiet time. You've earned it, all right? It'll be all right. Okay. Let's sip my coffee and let Alex talk.
Attention new listeners. We produced a complimentary online training course called 7 Training Tips That Could Save Your Life. Get instant access by joining the Student Lounge for free at studentofthegun.com. Do you watch Student of the Gun TV, read the blog, and follow us on Facebook? If you answered no to any of these questions, you are wrong, but you can easily fix yourself. Go to studentofthegun.com to find everything SOTG.
Alrighty then. Thank you, Alex, for telling everybody what they need to do, what they should do, and what we recommend that they do. We got a story from Breitbart.com. Yes, indeed you do. And the title of the story is Incoming Virginia Governor. So they just had one douche nozzle as a governor, and now they swapped that douche nozzle for a new douche nozzle. Well, what does the incoming governor say? The incoming Virginia governor says, banning private gun sales a priority for 2018. Interesting. A story by A.W.R. Hawkins from 10 January 2018. Incoming Virginia Governor Ralph Northam, Democrat. Can I ask something? I'm going to throw this out there. What the hell is wrong with you people in Virginia? Seriously, what in the hell is wrong with you people in Virginia? You just traded out one progressive liberal douchebag in Terry McAuliffe for another one. What is wrong with you people? Is it in the water or what? I mean, Virginia was part of the Confederacy, for Pete's sake. Virginia is the home of Thomas Jefferson. And what? Incoming Virginia Governor Ralph Northam indicates that banning private gun sales in the state will be a priority for 2018. In other words, he will continue to pursue gun controls that outgoing Governor Terry douchebag McAuliffe, Democrat, pursued but failed to secure. NBC Washington reports that Northam will be pushing universal background checks for gun buyers. This means private gun sales will be treated like retail sales, with the point-of-sale background checks required. Means it's government. All right, I'm just going to read a little bit and calm down here. Required at time of purchase. Such a framework will require law-abiding gun owners to seek out government representative, federal firearms license holder, and have a background check performed before he or she sells a gun to a neighbor, coworker, longtime friend, or acquaintance, or even bequeaths it to a relative. And I added that part. Other states that have outlawed private gun sales charge a fee for the required background checks. That fee effectively serves as a new tax on the gun sale or transfer, thereby driving up the price of firearms. Because, well, if you're an FFL guy and you run a store, you're not going to do this for free because you're not in business to not make money, right? Or are you in business to not make money? I don't know. Let's go ahead and continue on here. Northam referred to the legislative package banning private gun sales as nonpartisan, and common sense. But he did not explain why pushing law-abiding private gun sellers and average citizens are punishing is a sensible law in any way. After all, private gun sales have been the law of the land since the Second Amendment was ratified in 1791. Why would banning them be evidence of common sense? The ugly truth that Democrats and their gun control surrogates in the media ignore is that background checks have proven to be a favorite way for mass public attackers to acquire their guns. The Texas shooting, Las Vegas shooting, the Orlando Pulse shooting, the attack at the Aurora movie theater, the Virginia Tech attack, all mass shootings where people went in and bought their guns via background checks, not private sales. And then when the government fails to do their job, say like in the case of the Texas church shooting, when that guy should not have been allowed to buy a gun, but he was because the government failed to uphold its side of the bargain. Well, what does that mean? Well, because the government didn't do what it was supposed to do, what we're going to do is we need more laws. We need more legislation.
The government needs to have a bigger hand in it because the government's smaller hand didn't work.
That's right. The smaller hand of the government didn't work, so it needs an even bigger hand. Moreover, the government has demonstrated that large swaths of the left's private gun sale loophole are actually non-existent. So, but it goes, all right, I know that there may be one or two quote-unquote reasonable people out there in the audience. People are like, well, come on, Paul. It's time for us as gun-owning Americans to just be reasonable. If in order to keep people safe, we're just going to have to accept certain reasonable restrictions. And if you don't accept certain reasonable restrictions, well, that's because you're an unreasonable person and you just don't care about safety. You don't care about people who die in gun violence. No, I do care about people that die in gun violence. And I understand that gun violence is not committed with guns. Gun violence is committed by homicidal lunatics. Gun violence is committed by humans, human animals who have chosen to violate the law, who have chosen to violate malum in se. But it goes back to what we've been speaking to, the matter that we've been speaking to for, ever since I got behind this black carbon steel microphone about 5 years ago. And even before that, before I had the microphone and you couldn't hear me. Universal background checks are all about convincing the people of the United States that guns are, they're not really your property. Well, I mean, they kind of are, but then again, they kind of aren't. We have a lot of protections in the United States Constitution and the Bill of Rights about private property. As a matter of fact, when we founded this nation, our forefathers were very, very jealously, they guarded private property very, very jealously. Private property rights were first and foremost in the minds of our forefathers, because in order to have a citizenry that is truly independent, that truly has individual rights, not collective rights, not privileges that are granted to it by the king or parliament, but actual individual inalienable rights, you have to support private property rights. The moment that you allow a government to crap upon, to shite upon private property rights, you institute tyranny. Because if you do not have the right to own, maintain, and sell your own property, what do you have the right to? Well, you say, but Paul, you're trying to say that guns aren't your property. They obviously are your property. If it is required of you that you must receive the permission from a member of the state, a bureaucrat, a person who gets paid by the government, paid with your tax money. If you first, before acquiring, transferring, selling, buying, trading a piece of property between one person and another, first have to go before a representative of the state and say, Mother, may I? Am I allowed? Do I have your permission to transfer my lawfully owned property from myself to another person? You say, well, what's the big deal, Paul? I mean, as long as you're not a bad person, as long as you're a good person, then it's no problem. Okay. What if the bureaucrat on the other end of the phone says no? And I know I just threw some of you for a loop. You're like, what? Well, what do you mean no? Well, if they say no, then you're obviously a convicted felon and you shouldn't have a gun. What if you're not a convicted felon? They still say no. What if they say, wait? Because that's the three answers you can get from the faceless bureaucrat on the other end of the phone is yes, no, wait. And if they say wait, they don't have to give you a reason. They just say wait. Until when? Till my birthday? No, just wait. Well, no. Well, what do you mean no? Well, no. Hang on a second. This is my property. I purchased it. I owned it. I bought it legally, paid in full. I'm going to transfer it to someone else who is a lawful citizen. Why do I need a government go-between for that? Why do I need to pay a fee or a tax to engage in lawful commerce between myself and another person? because you can't be trusted, because guns are different than other kinds of property, and they're only your property as long as the government says that they're your property. The moment that the state changes its mind, oh, yeah, I know, 10, 30, 40, all the old times, you thought that was yours and you could just do what you want with it, right? But these are new times, and these are enlightened times. And we've decided, well, who's decided? Well, we, the ruling class people, we've decided that we just can't trust you and everyone else like you to have that property without government supervision. Ladies and gentlemen, if you have to get permission from a government bureaucrat from the state to transfer property from one to another, and you have to pay a fee to do that, that's not private property. That's not an inalienable right. That's a privilege. It's a privilege that can be rescinded at any point in time. So you freaks up in Virginia, do whatever you want. I don't know what's going on with you guys up there, and I'm not going to give you a pass. That's 2 in a row, 2 liberal, Democrat, progressive douchebags in a row that you've installed in the governor's mansion. You need to fix yourselves up there, Virginia, and this is just another example why. Now, on Wednesday, we're going to talk about more good things, more student of the gun goodness. I don't think we're going to have a special surprise Alpha Sierra episode this week, do you, Jared?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, we're not going to have a surprise Alpha Sierra. That's what last Tuesday was. But and if you're a grad program member, you know. If you're not, then you don't know. So there you go. All right, kids, remember, you're a beginner once. You should be a student for life.
We appreciate your reviews. If you haven't left a review or updated yours recently, head on over to Facebook, iTunes, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, or your favorite podcast player to voice your opinion. Don't forget to join us at the Student Lounge, a place for like-minded individuals to learn, connect, and support each other. No chicanery will be tolerated. Remember to check studentofthegun.com daily for new, free content and giveaways. Watch, listen, read, shop, and connect at studentofthegun.com. Are you a social butterfly? Connect with us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter for new content each and every day at Student of the Gun. Watch Student of the Gun TV and videos from our trusted partners on Roku, Apple TV, Amazon Fire TV, Chromecast, and even AirPlay. Go to studentofthegun.com for direct links, and remember, you're a beginner once, a student for life.